When it comes to the biggest moments in Utah sports history,
Say
these guys have seen it all. This is DJ and PK. DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We're joined now by Mike Folta, radio voice of the Utah Hockey Club. Mike, good morning.
Gentlemen, I'm joining you from the team plane here, about to take off and head down to Florida. Oh, what's that? Yeah, I'll do the steak and eggs. That'd be great. And yeah, thank you. Maybe
champagne.
A glass of wine. All right.
Mimosas for the crew. Okay. All right, well, let us know, Captain, when it's wheels up and you got to go, all right? And we'll let you bail out.
I think they're holding the plane for you guys.
Oh, yeah, nice. Right. Yeah, good one. Nice. So putting to bed the most recent game with the Red Wings, the lesson there is when you're in control of the game and you're creating a lot of opportunities, finish your chances. Goals change games, that kind of thing, because eventually Detroit got control of that game. 5-1 looks lopsided, but through the middle of the second period, Utah's a better team, but if you only get one goal, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, guys, Utah had more possession, and you said it. They were the better team for most of that game. You look at the two goals that Detroit scored to really take the lead. They got one that bounced off of one of our guys' shin pads, and then they had one that was just a weird tip. It kind of floated in like a pop fly. You ever seen like a pop fly where the right fielder doesn't know it's going to land in fair play, and then all of a sudden it's right on the chalk, and then the guy's got himself a double? I mean, that's kind of what we had here. So some fluky goals scored by Detroit. It was kind of a choppy night. I wonder – I need to ask the guys here in a sec what the ice conditions were like, because we had the Jazz the day before. It was a really warm day yesterday, and sometimes that can make the ice conditions a little weird. I'm not trying to make excuses for the guys, but it was a really sloppy game. Neither team able to string more than a couple passes together, and so it was just it was a tough one, tough performance to have when you needed a win. You needed a win against a Detroit team that was 5 points out of the playoffs. And the Red Wings get the bounces, Utah doesn't, and now we've got even more must-win games than we already had.
It's an uphill battle to get to the playoff. Going forward, like into next year, when I think the chances will be better next year, and if they don't make it, the chances will be better the following year. How about getting to the point of eliminating some of these types of games, whether they be at home and road, but basically don't have these stinker performances? How much of a difference do you think that will make? Because I think that'll happen in time.
Yeah, I think, first of all, every team does this. I was talking with JJ and Alex about this, but you're going to have maybe 10, 15 games a year where nothing's going your way. You don't have your legs. Maybe you were out partying with DJ and PK the night before, and so you don't have it, right? It's not your game. You're going to have 10 games that way. You're going to have 10 games or 15 games the other way where you can't do anything wrong, and then it's the 60 or 50 games in the middle that you got to decide what to do with. And this was one of those, that first group of games where nothing's going your way, you're not really connected, and yeah, finding a way to minimize those is something that every good team is able to do. But I still think this is something that just every group goes through. Even the Stanley Cup winning teams, over an 82-game season, you're going to have some of these duds. I think it'll help to have more of a, if this Utah team can continue to build on their identity, which they've been establishing this year, the more they can do that, the better with their older guys and their young players that are turning into older guys. But it was a disappointing one last night.
Obviously, they've got some key players who are very young, the two, Cooley and Gunther, right, 20 and 21. They do have a lot of guys between 25 and 30. So is the window for that group 3, 4, 5 years? How quickly can some of those guys, and how easily can some of those guys be replaced? How does that work going forward, do you think?
Well, I hopefully you're not replacing those guys. But just talking about Logan Cooley, the NHL stats department had a really good nugget the other day talking about Logan Cooley. He's 20 years old, and he already has two 20-plus goal seasons under his belt. So he's the fifth active U.S.-born player to record multiple 20-goal seasons at age 20 or younger. So stay with me. The others who have done that, who are in the league right now, Brady Tkachuk, captain of the Ottawa Senators, Austin Matthews, who was the leading goal scorer in the league last year, Jack Eichel, who's one of the best centermen in the league, period, and then a guy named Patrick Kane, who's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. So that's the company that Logan Cooley is keeping right now, and that's great news for Utah. Now, does he still have a ways to go? Oh, absolutely. And there's no surefire bet that he's going to turn into those guys I just mentioned, but that's the kind of trajectory that he is on, to be up with the elite American-born players that are in the game right now.
And I saw that, and he triggers the $250,000 bonus because he says he's on an entry level. Explain what that means, because we're used to the Jazz contract or NBA contracts, and we know you're on a rookie deal. In NFL, you're on a rookie deal. Here in the hockey, they call it entry level. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. So guys coming out of college, and it depends on how old you are, but most guys who are young. So Cooley entered the league when he was, 18, 19. He signs a 3-year entry-level contract with a pro team. And basically he's not – the most you can make on an entry-level deal is, I believe, $825,000. So basically, if you've got a bunch of rookies who are performing on entry-level deals, on rookie deals, that helps your team a whole lot because they're performing for cheap. The problem is when their entry level's up and you got to sign them, that's when the rubber meets the road and you get squeezed against the cap a little bit more. And that's why Utah's in a really good scenario with the cap going up, with Dylan Guenther already signed at a reasonable price. And now the only task is to extend Logan Cooley. Cooley's not yet eligible to sign that extension. He'll be eligible next year. And so that'll be definitely one of the top priorities for Utah. But when your entry-level contract is up, typically you're a restricted free agent, which means that teams are able to match any other offers that other teams can make you at the end of your entry-level contract. But for an older guy who's on a standard player contract, when his contract is up, he'll be an unrestricted free agent, which basically means it's a lot less likely that the team will be able to retain his services for the next year. But there's a lot of ins and outs with the salary stuff when it comes to the NHL, just as the other leagues. But basically, on an entry-level contract, it allows the team a lot more control over the player. Also, one more thing, you don't have to clear waivers if you're on an entry-level contract. So Utah can send their young guys up and down to the minors and back without having to clear waivers each time.
Kirill Vejmelka has started 14 games in a row. There were some conversations, some questions asked in the interviews after the game about that, about his fatigue factor. Should we see, with the back-to-back coming up on the Florida trip with Tampa Bay and Florida, should we see 15 and 16 in a row? Does he get a break? Will it matter a lot? How do you expect this to play out?
Yeah, I mean, he's the number one option. You got Jackson Stauber right now as the backup, who has performed admirably when he's been given the shot in the NHL. I think that this is just my guess. I don't have any inside knowledge here, but my guess is that we see Vejmelka against Tampa on Thursday and then Stauber on Friday against the defending champion Florida Panthers. Nobody has started 14 in a row since I think Jacob Markstrom did it in 2021 with Calgary. So it's pretty unusual, especially nowadays, to see a goaltender play that much. It's kind of like running backs in the NFL now. A lot of the good teams have multiple backs that they turn to. I know the Eagles just won on the back of Saquon Barkley, but a lot of NFL teams or even college teams kind of do running back by committee nowadays, and that's kind of what the NHL has turned into, where you look at all these playoff teams and most of them have two guys who could potentially be starting netminders. Now, there are exceptions like Winnipeg and Connor Hellebuck. He's their main guy. But most teams have two goaltenders who they feel comfortable throwing in on a nightly basis. Right now, it's pretty much just Vejmelka for Utah, even though Stauber has performed well when given the opportunity.
You're a Purdue Boilermaker. They're in the Sweet 16. If you're a white guy playing for Purdue, do you have to have a beard?
Fletcher Lawyer doesn't. He has an arm sleeve, though.
Okay, that's one dude. But the main guys, the player of the year, is that this is the rugged Indiana look?
A little bit. The problem with Purdue is that they've got all these, 6 foot or under 6 foot kids from middle of nowhere Indiana running around out there, and they make guys like me feel like we have a chance on the hardwood. But we're dancing, baby. And guess where that Sweet 16 matchup is, by the way? Crossroads of America, Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, why don't they just play it in West Lafayette and get it over with? My gosh.
Hey, we lost to I believe we were a 3 seed, and we lost to North Texas, the Green Machine, in Indianapolis during one of the COVID years. So it can happen. But, I'm satisfied. I got to be honest, guys. I had VCU to the Elite Eight in my bracket. So I was not a believer in the Cougs, but they're looking great right now. I think they were a really tough matchup for Wisconsin. They're looking great right now, playing some great ball, and it's going to be exciting to watch them.
We've seen BYU play Houston, so tell Purdue good luck with that.
Well, Houston's a tough matchup for us. I mean, we might get stopped, but we have the best point guard in the country, so we've got a chance. How are your guys' brackets looking?
Everybody who sticks with the chalk is doing fine.
Pretty chalky year.
Yeah.
Pretty chalky year.
Yeah. We got one 10 seed, 1 6 seed, a couple 5s. The other 12 teams are where they're supposed to be in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, it's still fun though. People who are poo-pooing the madness, I don't have time for you. I'm sorry. It's this, and I'm biased, right? But I think this and the Stanley Cup playoffs are the two best playoff formats in sports. And it's been funny introducing some hockey people to March Madness. They were a little surprised how much love I put into my bracket.
Oh, you mean guys on the team you're talking about?
Guys on the team, but on the broadcast crew especially. They were surprised that, I had to retire to my hotel room for a couple days to analyze my picks on the bracket and get the dual screens up. But, in 49 other states, it's just a game. In Indiana, it's a way of life.
Wow,
nice.
Deep.
That is deep.
You guys should do a movie about that, huh?
Yeah, right?
I got a title for you. Hoosiers. Think about it.
Boilermakers.
Yeah,
That's my only gripe with that movie is the title.
All right, Mike, we will let you go. We know you got a plane to catch here. Thanks for joining us. Safe travels and enjoy the. What are you going to 80 degrees there? I mean, this isn't exactly going to Winnipeg and Toronto and wherever else you went on that hideous January road trip.
Spring break in Tampa, baby. Oh, what's that? Yeah, I'll take a hot towel. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You better stay in your hotel room this time. I don't want to see any police report.
I'm packing my sunscreen.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Mike Folta, radio voice of the Utah Hockey Club. DJ and PK, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have Jazz tickets to give away to see the Jazz and the Rockets Thursday at the Delta Center. Hockey Club will be on the road for the rest of the week. DJ and PK, that appearance by Mike Folta was brought to you by Hercules First Federal Credit Union. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We'll give away the Jazz tickets next. Stay with us.
Accessing. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
the general manager of the Utah Hockey Club, Bill Armstrong. So down the stretch, it seems like every game has a playoff-like feel to it. Is that something that this team has embraced coming down the stretch here?
There's a lot of pressure that sits on top of our players. It's a must-win every game. But I like that. It's all about playing meaningful games down the stretch because we want to experience that pressure on our back where it's a must-win every single night and we have to be at our best no matter who's coming in. We've got to find a way to win. I've really liked how our guys have responded. We've been down a few goals and fought back to get points, and that's what you have to do at this time of the year. And there's a lot of hockey left. We got to keep pace with everybody else and keep winning and finding ways to get points. We got some big games coming up against some teams that are right in the race too, and we can take care of a lot of our problems by just beating those teams.
Catch Hanson Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. For all of you, less motivated listeners, it's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK brought to you in part by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. 801-899-7600 or visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. Want to give away some tickets?
Yeah.
It's a Utah Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Wins a pair of tickets to see the Utah Jazz and the Houston Rockets Thursday night at the Delta Center. Caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE.
That's the best news ever.
I don't know if it's best news ever. It's good news. It's free tickets. Somebody wants free tickets. All right, a lot of stuff to talk about. We just talked with Mike Folta, radio voice of the Utah Hockey Club. Yeah, I know the math is still there, but they got to leap 3 teams, PK. This is looking like a tall order. I mean, miracles do happen, but they're 6
Especially
points
on
back.
ice.
Yeah, they do. The miracle on ice. They're 6 points back with 11 games to go. There's 22 points left.
I think you're obsessed with that. I don't care.
Because they're going to improve, and they are
Yeah.
improving, and the trajectory is upwards.
Yes.
They're going to get to 80 points, I would think. They're sitting on 75 now, so improve 10 points 80 every year. You're in the 80s this year. You started at 57, I think. 57 to 70 to 78 to 80, whatever they finish with this year.
It's not like they're an expansion team. I'm not going to go that far. But this is their first go-around here, and I think you have to grade that relative to the situation. We're sitting here 3-4 years from now. It's a different story.
But they got 2 guys who could be difference makers next year, who can be better, and they've got a chance to upgrade the roster in the summer.
They've got Logan Cooley.
So 80s this year, 90s in the point total next year, and on to the playoffs.
And the
then.
hundreds and beyond.
That'd be awesome.
We'll be hoisting the cup. I'll be drinking out of the cup one of these days.
They weren't going to let you touch it.
Just hold on. No, they take it around. Everybody can
I know,
touch
but
it.
you're not supposed to hoist it.
I
They
will.
handle it with gloves. They do take it around. I like what they do with that trophy.
Yeah.
And I like that tradition that every player gets it for a day, and people take it to their college or their hometown.
I'm telling you, I will drink out of that cup. Mark my words. You bet your sweet bippy. Another stuff I heard my mother say over and over again. I never wanted to bet my sweet bippy. Why should I put my sweet bippy in jeopardy of losing?
Excellent point.
And she'd always, mark my words. I marked them 1,000,000 times. Half the stuff never came true.
So that's why we didn't mark Puka Nakua's words, because now as a 23-year-old, he wants to retire at age 30. Worried about injuries, wants to have 5 boys, wants to have a starting lineup.
What about little
basketball
girls?
team.
You're supposed to be a girl dad.
He didn't mention that.
Remember
in his
when
quote.
that was fashionable?
I do remember.
And then, I'm a girl dad. What you're saying is, boy, I'm really something. I'm so progressive. I was a girl dad. She played high school sports, but I didn't run around and tell people.
Well, you are
Look
now.
at me.
You are now.
Yeah, 5 years after, it was a big deal for everybody to come out of the closet. I'm a girl dad. Well, aren't you special? Why'd they have to do that? It stands on its own merit. You don't have to tell people. Live it.
You're just getting through the end of the NBA regular season. A lot of stuff happened last night, but the Lakers. This is just Get LeBron back, get in the flow.
Well, he's been back. They've lost a couple of games.
Be the 3, 4, 5 seed. It's not an unusual story, though, to have a star come back and people have to adjust to new roles and it doesn't go well and you lose a couple.
Yeah, but when LeBron comes back, it's not you're like adjusting. You already know. Even while he's gone, you're just keeping the seat warm. It's a little bit different there. It's a question of, I think it's more about Doncic and what this team actually has.
Since they made the trade, doesn't it look like a team that can win a series or two? And isn't that what they are right now?
I have to see what the matchup is.
Sure, and we don't know because they're a game behind Denver and they're tied with the Grizzlies, so they could be 3, they could be 4. They're only 2 games in front of 6th place Golden State.
So I want to see what the matchups are. They have the capability.
They could play Denver or Memphis or Golden State in the first round. Those all seem – you can easily visualize any of those 3 things happening in a 3-6 or a 4-5 series. It doesn't take much imagination.
Well, and I want to see I want to see that. I will be watching. I mean, I don't – with the March Madness going on, I mean, I watch the Jazz. I'm not spending a ton of time watching NBA. We've got hockey. We've got the Cougars, obviously. And then, of course, we've got this other tournament with the Utes. They're playing Butler. I'll be locked in on that.
Next Monday.
Yeah. Don't call me.
I was triple wrong about that. One, I didn't think they'd be in it when we talked about it. The record.
Triple wrong?
Yeah.
How can you be triple wrong?
Triple wrong. Well, here's 3 things I was wrong about. I was wrong that they're in it. I was wrong. I didn't realize that they're all getting, I should have, but I didn't realize they're all getting NIL money. That's part of the deal being in the tournament. And that's why teams are going to turn it down because all their players get paid and they want their players to come back.
Well, it's contractually bound, the conference.
But I didn't know the players were getting paid. And then here's the thing I was really wrong about. So many people getting in tournaments now, they took Colorado. I mean, if I thought Utah, it was a leap to put Utah in the tournament, it never even crossed my mind that Colorado would be in the tournament.
Well,
it wasn't.
Yeah, but I think you have to look at it differently.
Well, clearly, because I was wrong about 3 things when we were talking about it.
You didn't know about it ahead of time.
I knew the tournament was happening, and I didn't know much beyond that.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You don't think of it as a traditional tournament.
No. It's a different deal.
No. Yeah, I heard about it, and so, okay, that's the way it is. I'm happy for the kids who want to play ball. You get to be together a little bit.
Games are fun. Somebody wants to watch it, and somebody wants to give you money to play in it. Knock yourself out. Go have a good time.
The next 2 Mondays, I'm going to be locked down in college basketball.
FS1, 1 p.m. next Monday. PK will be watching 16-16 Utah play 14-19 Butler. Gordon Hayward ain't walking through that door.
How do you know?
Probably. He's free. I mean, he could.
Right.
But he's not going to save 14-19 Butler.
He's not going to play, but he might be in Vegas. He might walk through that door. Him and Robin.
You just like to mention Robin.
If BYU can get Jimmer out to the games, why couldn't Butler get Hayward?
Well, one, he lives in Denver.
This is short time.
So,
let's see if he's in Jersey. Let's see if he flies.
Jimmer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would think they would all be there. Ainge, Smith, Travis Hansen, Taysom Hill.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid only went to KC. I don't think he went to Denver.
Again, just driving across town.
Yeah, right. He's in town.
It wasn't a big ask.
No. And I think he went last year when they played in the conference tournament. He was there. He's been loyal to his school. Sure, it's a fun time. I would think all those dudes who are in Denver are going to go to Jersey. Gosh, I wish I was going. I really feel like I'm missing out.
Combination of Sweet 16 and it's Jersey.
Right.
Could drive in my hometown. Sing it, Bruce.
Yeah. It's been probably 3 years since I've been back.
Missing it a little bit? Time to go down the shore?
Having them, it's not that time of year, but...
no, it's a little brisk.
Having them be there in my home state.
They're there and you're not.
Right. That it bothers me. I would love to be there for multiple reasons, but not in the cards, and I'm not going to pay my own way. I will watch it on television with the rest of us.
Question of the morning, 11-2 football season or a Sweet 16 basketball season. If you had to choose, which one would you pick? BYU fans have all been pointing out, we don't have to choose, we get both.
Oh, it's sports radio. Play the freak along. Jeez.
I said football. It just seems so important to athletic departments, to conference membership, and you came up with a bunch of moves that weren't because a football team was winning. So it's not the only thing. But, man, I don't know where football is going, but I want my team to be good so they end up in as good a place as possible. And I realize some teams are going to be blocked by geography and history, and they can't get there no matter. Boise State can win as much as they want. There's 1 million people in Idaho. I don't think they're getting taken care of.
Are you sure it's as good a place as possible? Suppose you get into something that's over your head.
That wouldn't be good, yeah.
Well, then you don't know necessarily that it's as good as possible.
But I want to give it a shot. Reach for the stars.
We've already had both basketball coaches from L.A. wind up a storm.
They have. It's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it. And I want to say, yeah, the travel is so hard, except the women get on the plane are impacted by time zones, and they're like 2 of the top 5 teams in the country and are 1-2 in the league. So be good enough, and the travel won't be a problem. I mean, literally, look at the women's teams at your own schools. Stop your whining.
Is it in the best interest of the young women to be doing that?
I suppose you can ask each individual player.
Maybe they weren't necessarily talking about losing. You put it on exclusively records.
It is possible, but have you heard a lot of whining out of the women's coaches about the travel? They may not like it. I just think
they don't have the stature.
No, they don't, and they don't have the same platform. I get that. They don't have the same, but they do have a platform. I mean, there's still a women's tournament, and there's plenty of media coverage. They could say something. It hasn't carried the same way. Mick Cronin beat everybody to the punch. He was complaining early and often.
I think women are better people than men, and they complain less.
Roll with the adversity a little more.
Yes.
As opposed to Mick up there.
Right.
Let me tell you how it is.
Look at all the crap they have to go through just to get to where they are. It's way harder. And, so they're... By and large, women are better people than men.
Presumably in the next realignment, some of that travel could be mitigated, softened, minimized.
It must.
Yeah.
It's a requirement.
Add some more Western teams, you won't be flying as much.
Just get rid of the idea that it's...
Oh, I thought you were going to say Purdue. Just take a shot at Mike Folta. Just get rid of Purdue.
Get rid of collegiality, that mindset, and make it the pro sports that it is. And just the model is already there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. And you're good to go. And make it, instead of having 4 teams in a conference or a division, you have 10 or whatever it is. And that's the way you do it. And then you advance. And then maybe we can even get away with doing away with these dumb committees.
The Big Ten can realign and do whatever it will do at the end of the decade. We're all waiting for that. Or, maybe a little early, like Oklahoma and Texas announced a couple of years before they actually moved.
That was like 5. It didn't end up being 5. But I think it was like 3 or 4, wasn't it?
So that would be TV deals, depending on the league, are up in 2030 and 2031.
Just bring it and make it to pro. Do away with the dumb conferences.
Bring it in.
And just make it pro model. And here's the deal, AFC West, whatever it is. And go along with that. And regionalize it, especially in the non-rev sports, the Olympic sports. Bring some sanity to it. And then
there has been talk of that each individual sport would do its own thing. And with the pro model, they would literally, in some cases, become more pro and more minor league, depending on the sport. And I've read stuff about that behind the scenes they're talking about this. What will the soccer teams do? What will the baseball teams do?
Right.
It's different because, in some places minor leagues exist.
Yeah, the idea that ASU baseball is not playing the LA schools is revolting to me. As somebody who sat in the stands at Packard, which you don't play there anymore.
But that's what people want to see.
Yes.
That's what people want to see. They want to see
No offense, but I don't want to see them play Cincinnati.
Everybody gets it here. The Utah fan base got all worked up for USC. You know what that does? It gives you something in common with Oregon State and Washington State and ASU and on down the line.
So I think
look forward to those games.
Before I croak, sanity will prevail.
Well, we'll see if we get our 40 or 48 team Super League. The SEC is stubborn and stays at 16, and then the Big Ten decides to do 24 or 32. And it's like you said, there could be a 6 or 8 team division of Western teams. Probably more travel than there used to be, but not as much travel as they're having right now. Would probably be the middle ground that this thing settles in eventually.
Right.
They're not going to let all of the Pac-12 teams back in. That's not going to happen. But they're going to let some of them in. It was really clear-cut. Actually, I get why Mick Cronin complained. You know, when you see their road record and you realize, yeah, the road losses were all in the Central and Eastern time zone. They won at Oregon. They won at Washington. They won at USC. When they didn't start messing with time zones and jet lag, they were a pretty good road team.
Right.
5-5 on the road, but 2-5 on the road in the East and Central time zones. 3-0 in their own.
It's just not good for the young people. For anybody.
Wears you out. You're not going to play your best.
It's just not good for the participants.
Yeah.
Especially in these other sports where some of them actually went there for academics.
It's not a semi-minor league.
Right. Right. Yeah. They went to have the experience and to get the degree, not this is my pathway to the pros.
Volleyball.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah. All right, anything else we talked about today? Jazz and Grizzlies tonight. The Jazz are down to the last 10 games. No Ja Morant, no Markkanen, no Collins. Welcome to the NBA at the end of the year. You're either out and you're dumping games or you're resting guys trying to get healthy or stay healthy for the playoffs.
Flipper's going for 40. Mark it down.
Mark it down.
With Markkanen down, mark it down. Flipper for 40. That's my mantra. The best second-round pick the Jazz have ever had.
Ooh. List your favorite second-round picks. And go.
Well, Russell, Millsap.
Those are 2, and just depending on how old you are, they're going to be which order they're going to be in.
Can't count Hornacek.
Second-round
pick.
He was a second-round pick, but he wasn't a Jazz second-round pick.
No.
That was the Suns' brilliance in the second round.
Jerry Colangelo told me, I knew. Okay, Jerry.
You'd have traded up if you'd known.
No, I was sitting in the arena, and he literally sat down with me and said, no, I knew. Because when Hornacek it was his last season, and he was going into Phoenix for the last time. And he's always been
Mr. Phoenix.
Yeah.
He's super popular.
He always was. Him and Dan Marley, guys that they traded that just didn't work out. And I think he was part of the Barkley trade, wasn't he?
Hornacek was, yeah.
Yeah. I think Marley
was a 3-for-1. There were 2 other guys.
John Williams. Yeah. Although it's worse than being traded Dennis Johnson for Rick Roby. Blech.
Some terrible trades.
Yeah. That didn't work out.
Yeah. Mo Williams was a good second-round pick. Jaron Collins carved out a career.
Oh, and who's
for a while there, they were hitting.
C.J.
Miles played in the league for a long time.
His son. He was the son of a player. And then he went up to Portland. Wesley Matthews.
Wesley Matthews he was undrafted.
Oh, he's undrafted?
I think he was undrafted, yeah.
You sure?
No.
You can look it up.
But I'm pretty sure.
Okay, maybe he was. But yeah, Flipper. He's in the running. He's shown some stuff.
Yep. You could put him somewhere in that list.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wesley Matthews, undrafted.
He can shoot. He has a skill set, man. And as you look at it, it surprises me that he lasted that long.
With his size and his ability to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what gives me confidence. I don't have a whole lot of confidence right now in Cody Williams, but I'm not willing to say this is who Cody Williams is going to be. And he's going to be out of the league. They're not going to tender him a contract offer with those rules are with the rookie stuff. That's unfair to the kid. But clearly he hasn't shown as much as Collier and George did last year and Flipper's doing this year.
Was Filipowski shooting it that well from 3 early in the year?
No.
So he can shoot it, but some of that's got to go to development with the Jazz.
Yes. And what's the difference? Who cares?
I'm just saying it wasn't a
no-brainer
so that's why
to get him.
That's why he
should have been drafted. Okay.
Because
all right, that's
they weren't
fair.
sure he was going to shoot it that well.
All right, I understand your point. You're talking about last June, the mindset.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Right. All right. That's legit.
Yeah. I mean, he basically barely even took threes early in the year.
Well, yeah. I mean, we
Like,
already
there's a
played
lot of-
Hardy talking about him
Yeah.
being in the G League.
Yeah. The first game, he's taken like one a game in some of these games. There's a stretch here in December where he took 2 in 4 games. He made them both, but he only took 2. And now you look at him, he's taking 4 a night, 6 a night, 3, 4.
Well, if Kessler's going to fire up 8.
No doubt about it. Well, also early in the year, right? The veterans are playing more. He's in the G League.
Yeah.
You're going to defer to Markkanen when he's on the court. And now you're out there with Kessler. And like, if he's going to slam that thing off the back of the rim, I'm going to take a shot here.
Right.
Plus, it's clear to everybody that, they're dumping games now. The pressure's off.
Oh, yeah. I want to see.
I don't know that he knew that in game 5 or 10
I
or
want to
15.
see Kessler start throwing up hooks from 3. Shoot if he's wide open, shoot it underhanded.
Yeah, it's all upside down now. Everybody wanted to play in the fourth quarter because that shows you're the best player. And now it's like, wait a minute, if they're playing me in the fourth quarter, it's because they don't think I'm any good. Guys are insulted. You're putting me in the fourth quarter?
Well,
we're an upside down world. I can't wait.
Somebody has to play.
I know. I can't wait to get back to normal. You're trying to win a game.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at it, and you look at a guy like Johnny Juzang, is the same situation last year, and he was undrafted, right? And he's getting paid, and he's making a little bit of a mark.
Carving out a career year by year.
So somebody like Juzang, don't tell me these games don't matter.
You got to take your opportunity. There's 29 other teams watching. Even if you're like, oh, this team's going to have 3 draft picks, and they're all going to be signed, and I'm probably out of here. Well, all the more reason to excel.
That's why I can watch it. Is because somebody like a Juzang, it matters. They're losing, which is good, but to these kids out there, it matters.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Your feedback's coming up next.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
BYU, I think more so than Utah State, do this thing where the fan base goes, yeah, but it's the NCAA tournament, just happy to be there. Not good enough anymore. Can't do it.
And that's been the attitude of BYU for a long, long time, I think. There's not been a faith or a belief that they could advance any further unless you had a special, once-in-a-generation player, which they've only had twice. It's crazy that BYU's made the tournament, 32 years now? And you've only advanced the second weekend twice?
Oh, my goodness.
In this era? I mean, it's just crazy.
Ryan Odom coached VCU team. You think his guys have any fear going up against BYU? Zero. VCU has had more success than you in the past decade and a half of basketball.
They went to the Final Four in 2011 as the first time we ever had a first four. This VCU team has pedigree. They've had a lot of success over the last 15 years in the NCAA tournament.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6. Presented by G2G Bars on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. And now, enough of us. It's time to hear from you. From all your texts, tweets, and posts. This is the best feedback of the day.
Woo! Oh, I was there. That's the best game of my life.
With DJ and PK on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week. And it's sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals.
DJ and PK, it's time for your feedback. What do you have to say about today's show? Question of the morning, Sweet 16 or 11-2 in football with a bowl win and beating your rival. What's your choice? 63.6% of the people, we're about 100 votes in, are saying football. 36.5% for the Sweet 16 hoops. Chris, Utah has like 3 banners with multiple Sweet 16 years listed on each of them. Been there, done that.
Yeah, I will ask you, what would you rather have? BYU win the Final Four or Real win the MLS?
What would we get more mileage out of? Probably get more out of BYU.
I don't think there's any question we'd get more, but what would you rather have?
Oh, obviously, RSL. Obviously.
I'm a little torn.
You are not.
I got my guy over there.
Pablo. Thunderbird High guys have to stick together.
It's a code.
Yeah, because you went down the street. Where's that Jack in the Box?
23rd and Thunderbird.
23rd and Thunderbird.
And
at some point when I'm on
school's at 19th and Thunderbird.
When I'm in Arizona for some random reason, I'm going to go get a Jumbo Jack at 23rd and Thunderbird.
I'm
going to take a photo and I'm going to text you
I-17
and
and
Pablo.
Thunderbird, go east. It's right on the right side.
Rock, it shouldn't matter. BYU did both.
Yeah, but what brings you more satisfaction? You can't have equal. No.
I suppose.
Like, you don't love your kids all equally. That's a fallacy.
It's about 3 months of, 3 to 4 months of fun either way, right? The seasons are about as long?
Yes.
So from that, it's a 3 to 4 month ride.
But doesn't it seem like it's more possible, and I don't want to shortchange BYU football, but it's more possible to hit the big time in basketball? Not generally speaking, I'm speaking specifically.
Well, it certainly has been. There's been more variety in the NCAA Final Four, and you talk about winning the championship.
I'm talking about winning it.
The next thing for BYU is getting to the Final Four, so nobody has to hear that. Which team has played in the tournament?
Nobody.
Often.
This is a new day. Nobody cares about that.
I think people do care about it.
No, they don't.
I literally heard Ute and Cougar fans talking about it in the last week.
Oh, that solves it then.
I
you
agree.
heard it one time in the last week.
It wasn't one time.
That's conclusive.
It was more than one
There's
time.
no other case closed. You are convicted. What the heck is that? And I wanted to say something much, much stronger than what the heck is that?
Yeah, well, that's against the honor code, so that still matters for radio hosts, even though, it may or may not
Yeah, but
matter.
I was going to say it in Italian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're bilingual. It's good for you to be bilingual.
Ugazza.
I don't even know what that means. I think you just made that up and made some sounds and
I
waved your
didn't.
arms.
I don't know what it means either. I just heard it. I don't know what any of that stuff means. I don't speak the language, but I heard a bunch of obscene expressions growing up.
And that was enough. All right, DJ and PK, we are out of time. Jake and Ben are next. Stay with us.